r/ask Reddit. What everyday thing seriously creeps you out? Driving. You're trusting that everyone else is going to follow the rules of the road, but any old a-hole can just kill you in an instant. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I'm not even afraid of being a victim of careless driving. I'm afraid of being the perpetrator. I'm terrified that someday my attention might lapse and I'll be a killer. Same here. It blows my mind how casually people can take driving and how they'll distract themselves with texting or talking on the phone. When I was very young, I heard one of the little kids next door get hit by a car. I heard the drawn out, incoherently worded shrieks of his mother as she ran towards the road to stop him from wandering out into it, and the squeal of the car tires as the driver tried to brake before hitting him. He survived and wasn't permanently injured, amazingly, but in the first few minutes after it happened, when the driver sat shaking on our front porch as we waited for the ambulance and police to arrive, little kid me never forgot the driver's eyes. I saw someone who would give anything in the world to take back the last 30 seconds of driving. Anything to make that one moment not happen. It stuck with me as I grew up, and I will never drive carelessly because of that. Children tend to scream a lot when there's nothing wrong. They're just playing and having fun. Absolutely flays my nerves. There's an elementary school behind me, so whenever I happen to be out back during their recess, I get to listen to the herd of children screaming. Are they playing? Are they fighting? Being slaughtered? We'll never know. All of the above. Brain aneurysms are common in my family. Knowing I'm at increased odds of suddenly dying is more than a bit disconcerting. Take no offense, but I suggest you register as an organ donor. Healthy young organs are hard to come by and you can save many lives. Make your certain death matter. Hell, I'm a heavy smoker, and when my wallet was stolen and the very nice lady at the DMV asked me if I wanted to be a donor, I didn't even think, just said yeah sure. Silently in my head I was thinking, when I kick the bucket no one's going to want my filthy tar covered organs and some poor human is gonna check them only to be annoyed at me. Driving in between semi-trucks on the freeway, I feel trapped. Just passing a semi-truck is enough to give me shivers. If its driver didn't notice you and decides to change lanes, you're toast. If one of the tires blows and sends rubber/shrapnel your way, you're toast. It's pretty scary. Driving past a 53.5 meters road train into oncoming traffic when the limit is 130 km/h straight. Soggy wet food I have to clean up from the sink after washing dishes. My mom sometimes leaves her tea bags in the sink, or wet napkins. So gross. Used tea bags are so gross, and the bin is never that far away, so why don't people put them in the bloody bin? That I can casually mention X product and then get inundated with ads for it on Facebook, Amazon, etc. Especially things that you only buy once in a blue moon. We bought a bed several months ago, and I'm still getting targeted with ads for bed frames. It's like they think that buying queen size beds is going to be this routine occurrence for me. Yep, I bought a toilet handle once and Amazon now apparently thinks I'm an avid collector of toilet handles. Windows at night. I don't know if it's a joke or not, but I'm talking about the windows in a house. It's hard to tell on here. Same. My kitchen dining room has 3 very large windows that face the equally large backyard. Every time I go down there in the middle of the night I have to tell myself, focus, don't look out the window, there's gonna be a duck in face. Edit. Some of you pointed out that the windows and the backyard are in fact not equal in size. The windows are large, the backyard is significantly larger. PLS forgive me. Yep, I live in a flat, by myself, but have my own private entrance. The fur has a large pane of glass in it, but slightly frosted. Every night I go down there to make sure the door is locked and am convinced there'll be a face there. Or as I turn to go up the stairs I'll hear a knock. Or the letterbox will open and I'll hear someone say something like you'd better hide. My brain just likes to scare me. Grass. It's alive but it's everywhere. That anyone you care about can die any day, or your own life. It ducks me up to think I might wake up tomorrow and by the time I go to sleep again I will have a person, or more, less in my life. This absolutely terrifies me. We're all living in ignorant bliss of the death and misery around us. We think that the bad things in the world could never happen to us, until it really does happen to us or someone we know. We always think bad things happen to somebody else. But as I'm always reminded by the quote from Calvin and Hobbes, to everyone else in the world you are somebody else. Women with really long fingernails. Long nails scare the crap out of me. I would argue that men with really long fingernails are equally or even more creepy. Bold words for someone in clawing distance. The fact that almost every human is covered in microscopic mites living off our hair follicles, eating our body's natural oil secretions. They have probably drowned in semen one or two times. The fact that we have holes that lead inside our body. Wait, what? That involves all my favorite things. Breathing, eating, hearing, seeing, peeing, shitting and ducking. Holes are what life is all about. Stuff going in and out of holes is the best part of being a human. One of my stepdads. Sometimes I stop to think how fragile society is and it scares me. Everyone is collectively deciding to be a normal functioning adult today and one day we could just not, and it would be chaos. Same goes for currency. It's so fragile that if we all decided money was worthless, it would be worthless at it. I understand these possibilities are super unlikely in any normal scenario, barring nuclear war or some other kind of Great Depression. It's not a legitimate fear of mine. I'm just saying, Marizo, it's interesting to think about. I do not think society will just collapse any given day or that money will suddenly be worthless. Think of how fast shit hits the fan if electricity suddenly stops being available. There was a TV show about that a few years back. If I recall correctly, the US was a lawless frontier within like 6 months. Was eating lunch today and looked over at a relatively skinny kid. Saw his jawbone moving under his skin as he ate. Absolutely horrifying. This is an everyday thing for you. Damn. Skinny people do eat every day. Yes. Every human grew inside another. That shit is gross. I have 2 kids and am intimately familiar with the whole process. I'd much rather people grow in like pods or something. That's what you get for breaking the Matrix, Neo. Bugs might crawl across my face when I'm sleeping. That's why I sleep face down, LMAO. But then they'll get all in your hair and down your back and up your ass. When in the men's room, you notice a fair amount of people don't wash their hands. You've probably shaken hands with loads of people that have just touched their dong. On a similar note, people who let their dogs lick their faces knowing full well their dog licks other dogs' buttholes. Totally gross. It's 2019 and people are still kink shaming dogs that eat ass. SMH. I have seen the stats of people who masturbate and don't wash their hands. Men and women. You have shaken hands with these people. People's knees. Also ghouls. Just magnets, bro. Came here to say foamy toothpaste water pooling in the bathroom sink when I brush my teeth. But then I saw the thread about aneurysms and now maybe the toothpaste water isn't so bad. Gauges. Like that one dude who put one in his cheeks so you could see his teeth and shit. Pressure gauges too. Man, like, this whole damn facility could blow. Especially if there are some giant tanks. You'll know it's going to happen once the pointy thing starts spinning rapidly on the gauge. And if a few bolts blast off and steam starts shooting out, well, it's too late. Food that still has its face attached to it when it's served. Roasted whole pig, lobster, fish. We cook whole branzino in our wood oven at work. It gets up to 800-900 degrees Fahrenheit. It could literally melt gold. A lot of the time the eye bursts and white goo comes out. Saw a guy slurping on the head tonight. That was pretty disturbing. Calling a guy you find sexually attractive daddy. No thank you and will always weird me out. Funny thing. Lots of people are like that, but the most common pet name, baby, doesn't bother anyone. Open bracket. Daddy protects. Baby gets protection. Funny because I can hear that and grin, but if I see a guy call his girl mommy, I'm gonna be taken aback for a moment. But that's alright mama. Any way you wanna do. It creeps me out majorly. Apparently people think someone like me with daddy issues is more prone to it, but you know what? The last thing I want to think of during sexy times is my dad. Worms on the sidewalk after a rainstorm. No clue why, but every time it really freaks me out. And they smell. People think I'm nuts when I say I can smell the worms outside. It's always made me really sad to see the dried up dead ones. so I always toss them back into the dirt grass when I see them. Poor lil wormy were just trying to live. People walking too close to me on the sidewalk. Edit. Especially when there is a ton of space, or the street is otherwise empty. If someone is too close to me, I'll just move to the side and wait till there's enough space. It gives me serious anxiety sometimes. Maybe I was mugged in a past life. That one day you will have to witness everyone you love die, and there's no getting around it unless, of course, you die first. In the end, death is inevitable and everything that you know will cease to exist eventually. Not if you go first to beat the rush. Social media manipulation of the news and how people take it at face value. Then the echo chamber starts and fake stories or out of context facts are considered truth. With the deepfakes getting even more convincing now, we are going down a very scary path. Those ads you have to see when you just want to read an article. The ones where you see people with scary plastic surgery or weird foot fungus. I don't want to see that stuff. That we give flowers to people, even though they are plants' genitals. Happy anniversary, here's your bag of smelly dongs. Well, to be fair, gifting of dongs is a common anniversary present. Monkeys, nasty little creepy ass duckers, chimps, gorillas, orangutans, all of them. Everyone thinks they're so cute. No, they'll rip your damn face off. I bet they stink, too, but I've never gotten close enough to know. Claymation, the melted look of the characters, the jerky movements, sweet baby Jesus, I hate it. Stand in the place that you my first silver, thanks. The amount of people at work that don't wash their hands after using the bathroom. Every day when I bring my sisters at school, I'm always afraid if they are going to be kidnapped, that my parents are going to die someday and it won't be the same in the house. The thought of not having them in my life is scary. They will become a memory. People who are angry or blatantly disrespectful for no apparent reason. I mean, we are all just trying to live here. Why be mean? Venomous snakes. We have way too many copperheads in the southeast US. My dog got bit in the mouth last week and spent a couple of days in the vet hospital. I have killed 5 danger noodles in my backyard in the last 4 years. Some people say don't kill snakes, but duck that. If one of us gets bitten it could be a $30,000 hospital bill. $30,000 hospital bill. America. Duck yet underwent urgent surgery and spent 5 days in a hospital in Australia after an incident involving some wildlife. Don't want to specify. I'll be identified. Total bill $0. Holy shit, are you that dude that got raped by a wallaby? The news around killings. Basically, there's always stories of someone murdering someone either out of enjoyment or out of circumstance. But the fact is, anyone around us could be now or in the future a murderer and we could be the victims. I seriously walk down the street and think of how I interact with someone and whether or not they could become vengeful. What if I say something rude and that's the moment they snap and pull out a knife and stab me? What if I hurt someone's pride and later that night I find them outside my workplace or home, ready to exact their revenge on me? Shit's scary. Porcelain dolls. Dated a girl who had a collection of them and I hated seeing them so much. Spider crickets. You never know where those creepy duckers are gonna go and they can jump so far and they look like spiders. Which I like, but not when they are jumping at me out of a darkened room. Pamphlets left on the seats of public transportation like trains or buses. Sometimes they're religious. Sometimes they're medical. But all the time it feels like someone's creepily waiting for me to open it. Just the thought of pre-Big Bang. The concept of absolutely nothing. Also, people who sexualize toddlers. OHH, he's such a little flirt. What a ladies' man. Gross. Wet hair on the shower drain cover. If you think about breathing, it becomes manual labor. Spiders. I'm a 32-year-old man, but inside there is a 5-year-old beach who squeals at the sight of them. Ads that pop up showing something that you just thought about. Soggy bread. The Pledge of Allegiance. The fact that kids are forced to swear their undying loyalty to a country, to promise to not even question it, and that it is protected by ducking religion. It's ducking horrible. Parking garages, especially at night. Cotton. I hate the touch of really cottony things. The holes in olives. IDK if this counts, but I have a constant fear when I'm sat still someone has a sniper aimed at my head. Eating meat that isn't boneless, chicken wings, ribs, etc. Thinking about my existence will seriously duck me up. This life doesn't feel real and the person who I am seems so unfamiliar. Insects. Any kind of insect. I'm not afraid of many things but any and all insects can politely go duck themselves. They're creepy, crawly little mother duckers and they are single-handedly the most disgusting thing. Parent mouth kisses with their children. Stop that. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.